let's start with the patterns. We have here the front pattern, the back pattern, and the skirt pattern. The only difference is in the front and the back pattern, I cut out a square for the square neckline. You will see me here picking out one thread of my linen so I can make the linen even and it won't move, and I can cut the patterns on the right grain. So because I want to conserve my linen, I did the top half of the pattern, the bodice half first, and after that I did the lower half. Meanwhile, I'm watching Swan Lake. So that's that. Here you will see me sewing the skirt first, right sides together. Even though linen doesn't really have a right side, but you know, the front and the back is the same. This is the easiest part for me. After sewing the top half together and the bodice half and the lower half together, I tried it on. Yeah, birds. So here I'm trying it on and I'm looking at how the fit is, if the darts are correctly taken, if I need to take more fabric in from the sides, and to check if this neckline is square enough. After I did that, I steamed and pressed everything, and I steamed and pressed the hem so I can sew it. Pressing the hem makes it far easier, trust me. The backside from the skirt I didn't really like. It was a bit too big. So what I did is I lowered the darts until maybe to my knees. And that took away the bulk and made it far more smoother in the back. You see me pressing and pinning it, and pressing it makes it a little bit easier. When you take out the pins while sewing on the sewing machine, it will show you clearly where to sew and it won't slip and slide. Here you see me pressing the hemline of my gown. To make it pretty, I folded it over and pressed it again and pinned it down. This will take care of your rough edges. Excess fabric and uneven cutting I cut away. In the corners I cut away more fabric so it wouldn't bulk up. Fitting, I didn't like the armholes, it was too tight, so I cut them lower. I also cut the bodice in the same fabric, so I cut up the bodice in the same fabric, linen fabric, and I pinned the right sides together, and I took care of the excess fabric under the armhole. And I wanted to use the same fabric for the bodice in the back, so it wouldn't be noticeable if you see the back side. It just looks like the same fabric all around. After pinning it all, I sewed it on the sewing machine, and I left the straps open because otherwise you wouldn't be able to turn it inside out. Trust me, I forgot this and I had to unpick all the seams in the straps. So I left the straps open, I pressed it, and now I will you will see me pressing the straps because I want the edges to be nice and crisp, and this will also help you to sew it together. Again, you need to do this by hand because a top stitch here wouldn't look very good. Right sides together, the back strap and the front strap I pinned, and I am sewing it right now in the sewing machine. From the one side of the strap I cut off the seam allowance, and I would fold over the other half over it and then sew it so it's a flat seam. Just like I said, you cannot go with the machine over it. It wouldn't look that great. So right now I'm hemming it all by hand. All the loose edges I couldn't get to with the sewing machine. I'm hemming it by hand because I like how it turns into nearly invisible seam, and from the right side you won't notice at all you sewed it. Again, still watching Swan Lake. After I sewed all the darts, I noticed I couldn't get it over my head. It was too tight and I couldn't get my shoulders through it. I could, but it was difficult, so well, I unpicked the left side seam until I had the size of my zipper. And I wanted to use a gray zipper, but it was too noticeable, so right now I'm using an invisible brown zipper. I'm pinning it, and after pinning it in place, I'm going over it by a sewing machine. I'm not the best at this, so it's not a great idea to follow what I did. Actually, it's maybe my second time or third time ever I'm sewing a zipper. I unpicked my seam too much, so right now I'm hemming it back together again by hand. And this is the inside, so it wouldn't matter if somebody saw it. I also added a skirt because with linen it will stick to your body and it won't fall nicely. So I just cut up a skirt in the same size of my dress skirt, and I just added it to the bodice and hemmed it in place. Last thing I'm gonna do is just make a few loose stitches at the side so the back side wouldn't ride up. The skirt lining and the bodice lining are now attached to the dress, and with a few stitches, last stitches, it's ready to go. Thank you for watching. I hope you understood what I did, because my English is very, very bad. I dislike my accent. See you next time.